Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel Escaping Reality. Thank you so much for tuning in again and watch me talk about life in Ireland. It is April already. I am turning 26 next month, so it is crazy. And today the sun was out. I had a very strong cup of coffee just now, so I feel really, hyped up because it was raining yesterday and now it's sunny. So I wanted to kind of use that energy from the sun and from the coffee to make this video and talk about how I have changed in the last 4.5 years of moving to Ireland. So when I came here in my early 20s, I was just 21. I was very different. I would say I was immature, but then most of us are in our early 20s. We've not seen the world and we are, stepping out for the first time by ourselves, and we are fully responsible for how our life is going to turn out by the decisions we make in our early 20s. So this video, I want to list out how I have changed in the last 4.5 years. Evolved, changed, learned new things, and let's talk about how truly grateful I am of the growth that I have seen in the last 5 years. So let's get started on this video without much ado. And so the first thing I think I have learned is financial independence, and it is something that I think nobody really teaches you in India. You kind of don't have your own bank account, or even if you do have a bank account in your as a child, you are not really fully responsible for your own money and you don't learn how to manage money. You just get pocket money from your parents and you usually spend it on indulgences. So you don't really know money management. I don't want to generalize, but I would say that was the case for me. So doing my first part-time job also, you kind of become responsible for paying your, expenses, your rent, your day-to-day living, and you kind of stop relying on your parents for it. And I think that's a huge thing that, for Indians, it's like you suddenly don't have that safety nest. You are responsible for your own finances. You have to take care of it. You are not living in your own home anymore, so you have to pay rent and stuff like that. So I feel I have grown so much in terms of like financial understanding. I have made like some rash money decisions here and there where I have indulged when I should have saved and stuff like that. But then I think early 20s are to like kind of, when you get your first salary, you kind of want to spend that and be, enjoy your life and do things that you want. So I did pay off my student loan. I did pay off any debts that I had. And I think that was something that I have achieved in a period of 3 years. So that was almost 50%, 60% of the loan I had taken for my first year of coming to Ireland, and then I paid it off, and then I had enough money to sustain my day-to-day expenses also. So I think it feels really good to be done with your student loans and stuff by the time you're 24, 25, and then you can actually save all that interest that you're paying back, EMI that you're paying back, to save or invest in yourself or invest in other kind of like stock savings, FDs, etc. So that was something I think is like essential, that when you move abroad, you kind of learn. You can go out and spend as much money as you like, but then you also have to ensure that you are the one who's paying rent or your bills and stuff like that, or have money for your medical expenses and all of that. So if you are coming for the first time from India to abroad, if you're moving abroad, you will learn this, and it's better to start learning sooner. If you have people around you who are very wise financially, turn to them. And this year I started kind of saving and investing because I found people who kind of pushed me in the right direction and kind of helped me to do all of that. The second would be, freedom of the mind and independence and free decision making. I think, when we come from, like I can speak for myself, from a middle class conservative family kind of, so you kind of don't have the autonomy to make decisions for yourself. You are many times led by decisions made by your parents, family, friends, what other people will say and all of that. But when you really move abroad and no one knows you really, no one is super invested in what you're doing in your personal life, you have the freedom of mind. And I think that for me is something that I can't let go of. So I can make independent decisions of what I want to do. I really like to travel. I have traveled solo as well. So I was able to make those decisions by myself, and I felt that I was more responsible. I was more committed to whatever decision I was making. It wasn't just like, like a teenager just making decisions. They were calculated decisions where I would be fully prepared. And just for an example, like I really wanted to travel and stuff like that, and my dates would not match with friends, and my parents were in India, and I wanted to travel solo, and my parents were getting a bit worried initially on my first trip alone, like how will I manage, what will I do and stuff like that. And then I saw that I was so committed to like planning everything. I would make Google Docs where I'm staying, where I'm going, contact information, share it with my parents, and be fully committed to like, ensuring that I'm safe, I'm making good decisions. And then I was able to do that trip successfully. And then, they trusted me with more trips that I could undertake in life. So yeah, it was good to make these decisions without stress of what other people will say or think, and do things freely. And I think this applies to a lot of other things, like the kind of job you do, what clothes you wear, what life choices you make. So people really open up here, and sometimes they are able to, make decisions without judgment, and that is extremely freeing. And for me, it's almost become like a non-negotiable in everyday life. And now my parents have also come to trust me with my decisions. They no longer think that I am being irrational or I'm being, very erratic with my decisions. And they trust that I have managed to live here by myself for 5 years and been able to do a lot of things. So now they see me as this independent person who is capable of making her own life decisions. And a lot of you will feel that. And you need to also prove that you are making good decisions. So you need to show them that you're doing well in your career, in your personal life, you're doing well wherever you go, and that you are actually, growing as a person, for them to also trust that you are no longer a part of that entity, but like a person of your own who has a rational mind and can make decisions for themselves freely. The third thing that I have learned is adaptability, and I think that is in every sphere. So you become extremely tolerant towards people around you. You actually start to appreciate people around you. You appreciate different cultures. You see how different people operate. You get a chance to, mingle with them on a cultural level. You can invite them for your festivals. You can go for their festivals. You can eat what they are eating. They can eat what you are eating. And you become more open-minded about things. You don't judge people just based on what you think. I think a lot of us think that, Western culture is different from us, so it's bad. And then we kind of, don't respect that cultural element that they bring. So I think when you come here and you see that people are making decisions that are important to them, that, don't necessarily make them flawed, and that there are people who are as, committed to their personal life or like professional life, you kind of respect and appreciate their decision-making process. So I think it makes us really open-minded as people. And I feel in a world where there is so much of hate and people don't really accept other people, you really should come out of your culture and open up and see that there's beauty in other cultures and how people lead their lives. And the end goal is to be happy for someone else, even if you may find it odd or unsettling or different from your culture. You should be willing to open up your mind and recognize that people can live life freely and they don't have to conform to your upbringing or to your way of life. As long as they're not hurting anyone else or doing something bad and immoral, you should be able to respect their life choices, and you kind of see them respecting your life choices. So very simple example, like if you tell like a person from another culture, from a Western culture, that India has arranged marriages, they'll be shocked and they'll think that it's the most archaic thing, it's the most like regressive ideology, and how can someone else like make these decisions. But they kind of respect your traditions also. So same way like how they lead their lives, we should also respect and understand that it's different from us, but it's necessarily not wrong. And I have friends from all over the world now. I have friends from different cultures, and when we sit together, we are able to discuss whatever we find good, bad about our own cultures, and then we are able to like communicate freely. And at the end of the day, we are all people, and we are all trying to live a happy, peaceful life. So that makes it extremely easy to connect with people and have a fulfilling life where you're not judging someone's life choices but letting them live, and you expect the same from them as well. The fourth thing that I would say I have learned is appreciation for the smaller things in life. I think I really like this about European culture, and I know it's a very privileged stance, and again this is something that is not easily available in India, but it is the appreciation for the smaller things in life and enjoying life and living life wherever you can, whenever you can. So very simple example is that the work-life balance that we have here, it kind of promotes taking out time for your family, for your personal life, taking leaves, holidays to go on a vacation, and doing something on the weekend that's like not work related. So I know in India, most of the home tasks that like say calling the plumber, electrician, buying stuff, and like doing like home chores. They are completely dedicated to the weekend, especially in my house. Like most things are around the weekend and it's all stressful work. And here, like most tasks that you do are limited to the weekdays. So if you want to call an electrician to come and fix something, you have to either take a half day or like do it within work hours and stuff like that. And on the weekends, I love that families and like people here go to the beach. Parents go like cycling, hiking with their kids, and they really enjoy and value like family time and quality time. And I have come to realize that I love that too, like just going to the park, getting a coffee, enjoying having a slow weekend rather than feeling like a sense of hustle all the time where, you're just getting tasks done. And when the weekend is over, you feel like you have not really rested. And I completely understand this is not possible from the country where I come from, where, there's so much of a hustle culture and things are always very fast paced. But now I appreciate having that quality time to myself to do things that I like and be able to take out time for like people around me and be able to do things that genuinely make me happy. One more thing that I feel is not talked much about is civic sense. And by civic sense, I mean like respect for your surroundings and for the people in your surroundings, and like, being patient, kind, and not like pushing people, and treating everyone with respect, no matter what they do, where they come from. And this can be very simple, like, not littering, respecting the law, talking nicely to people, saying thank you and please to anyone, even if they are, doing something like cleaning the floor and you like walk by, you should say sorry and thank you and use words like that. And I'm not saying no one does that in India, but a lot of people don't realize that these are very small things that people learn. Like, for example, if you're standing in a line, you would wait, like here, you would wait for the other person to finish and not rush them. If someone is, at a counter and they're doing something like making coffee and they're taking a bit of time, you will wait instead of like, pushing or like, getting angry and like throwing a tantrum and stuff like that. And for me, I'm that person who likes to, talk nicely to people around me rather than being a pushover or being aggressive or getting irritated by small things. And sometimes when I go back home, I kind of feel that, that is not paid so much attention to. And for me, that has become really important. So I do, appreciate when people talk nicely to each other. And this is something that I hope like, we can learn here and get better at. And for example, like yesterday I was in a passport line and it was clearly written not to speak there, and like because like the interview was happening for the visa, and like I saw that some people who were not following the rules, and they were the only two people who were not following the rule while everyone else was. And this is a very small thing, but then it was clearly written there that you should not talk there because the interviews were being conducted, and then there were only two people who were not following that, and they were from my home country. So I kind of felt that, these are things we can learn and adapt to and show respect to others rather than just always, making things about us. And this is again in no means to like offend anyone or to like point fingers at anyone, but this is something that I have learned, and I feel that this is something that I truly, respect now. And I understand like it is very important that we kind of respect the society, and that is what makes a place a nice place to live, when people like respect each other and follow like certain rules that are meant to be. Even if I'm like learning driving and stuff, I know that the other person is following the rule, and I have to just ensure that I'm following the rules, and then that will keep me safe. So that again is civic sense, and that has made life much simpler for me, because now I know what others can and will do and what is expected from me as well. So these were like 5 vague points that I feel are extremely critical, and these have come to me after a lot of reflection. Like when people ask me how life is different and why I like living in Ireland, I think these are 4 or 5 points that have really made it easier for me to answer these questions. And everyone has their own journey, and they can like experience this in different ways or forms, or they may not experience the same thing. But this has been my learning in the last 5 years, and I hope you found it of value. So again, thank you so much. I will now go enjoy the sun for a bit, work also. It's Tuesday, and I will see you again next time. So thank you for tuning in on Escaping Reality. Please do like, share, subscribe, yada yada yada, and I will talk to you